Well, I wanted to record another vlog, and I guess this would be part 3 concerning immorality here in the U.S. But what I did want to make clear is that sexual immorality is not the only thing that I believe God is judging America for. I believe this country is guilty of many things. And sexual immorality is just one of many things that I believe God is judging America for. But I'm just really talking about that because that's one thing that I think most of us kind of overlook, is that, we commit these acts of sin as though they're not going to be charged to our account. And I honestly believe that whether you believe in the Bible or not, whether you believe in God or not, that is irrelevant. The fact we are human beings, I believe that that alone causes God to charge these sins to our account. So if it's sexual immorality, if it's some other sin that's against God or some other violation, all of it is charged to our account, regardless of whether we believe in him or not, or whether we follow him or not. It doesn't even matter. God operates in a whole different system than we do. And his courtroom is the earth itself, and everything we do, say, and think is being recorded, whether we realize it or not, or acknowledge it or not. The smart thing to do would be to acknowledge it and say, I know that, no human being, no one human being or a nation of human being can make a planet. So whoever made this big old planet has the overall say as to how they want it to be stewarded, because it belongs to them. And so God is the only one that has the power to decide how he wants to rule and reign and govern the things he created. So if human beings don't want to believe that there's a God, still doesn't mean that they can commit violations and not have those charges added to their account of iniquity. It's still going to be charged. And so I believe that's what's happening here in America, is that, many people believe in many different things. And, now there's kind of like this new age way of thinking that, whatever you believe to be true is true. You don't have to believe in the ancient theologies of God and things of that nature. You can just believe anything, and whatever you believe to be true, that's true. Well, just because I want to believe that there's $1 million in my bank account, don't mean that there's $1 million in my bank account. I can say that it is, and I can believe it all with my heart. But if somebody was to check in my bank account and see how much I have, the truth is I don't have $1 million in my bank account. So, that theory just falls flat on its face. We don't deal with what we want to believe to be true. God doesn't operate like that. God operates on what actually is true. That's how he operates. He is the truth. And if we don't align our belief system along with his, then what happens is that we are in falsehood. We can believe a lot of things, but it doesn't mean it's true. And so we ought to seek what is true. And what I believe is true is that God made this planet. He made the creatures on the planet, and he gave man the assignment to be a steward. And we have done a very poor job in being stewards over the planet that God made. And God has the right to judge us according to our works. So if it comes in the form of a plague like COVID, or in the form of a famine or war, then that's how God will judge. And Is it a result? If it's a result of sexual immorality or some other sin, then that's up to God to judge. He is the owner, and we're just tenants living on his property. And I did want to make clear, I was saying that if a woman is caught having sex with someone that she's not married to twice, that she is stoned to death. I said that that might be in Exodus or Leviticus 22nd chapter. Well, that's actually in Numbers 22nd chapter. And it's talking about two cases. The first case is that a man gets married to a woman, and he finds out, or he believes that she is not a virgin, and then he files a complaint against her and takes her to court and tries to sue her father for defrauding him and selling his daughter as a wife when he knew that his daughter was not a virgin. Well, in that matter, the father is supposed to bring the tokens of her virginity to the court to present it before the judges. And when the judges see that, she indeed is a virgin, then the man her husband who accused her of not being a virgin is supposed to take her to be his wife, and he is not to put her away and divorce her. But in another case, on the flip side, I should say, if that same man who is betrothed to this woman finds out that she is not a virgin, the telltale sign is that they're supposed to go to court, and the father of the bride, if he doesn't have the tokens of her virginity, then that's a telltale sign that he spent the money. And so he defrauded this man in selling his daughter as a maid, or as a virgin maid. And so the family of the father would get a refund for the purchase, and then the community would stone the daughter of the man, because she would be what's called playing the whore. In other words, he was pimping his daughter. So the one telltale sign would be that if she was really a virgin, an honest man would not spend the money that that the father of the groom paid. He wouldn't spend that money right away. The father of the bride would keep that money for a while, just in case a false accusation about his daughter might come up. But a man who knew that his daughter really wasn't a virgin, well, he would just spend the money as soon as he got it, and that was a telltale sign that, your daughter probably isn't a virgin, because you're just doing this for the money. So you can look that up, I believe, in Numbers 22nd chapter. So I just wanted to correct myself on that, because I mentioned that, I believe, either in the first blog about this, but I just wanted to kind of wrap it up and mention those key things, is that God's judgment can fall for a number of reasons, but I believe one of them is because of sexual immorality. And I believe America is definitely ripe for that. And we have, in a sense, tempted God, and have, in many ways, have provoked God to do something. Because we live life carelessly here in regards to sex, in regards to sexuality, in regards to sexual preference. And since we live life in that regard, God is holding us accountable. And we're suffering. And many of us don't know why, but these plagues, if we do some research in ancient times as to how come, the ancient civilizations went through plagues like famines and dearths, and a dearth is just, a lack of rain, but, warfare. It was because of the sins of the people would reach unto heaven. In other words, the account was like a bank account. And once it got full, then God would, cash in. He would reward that nation according to the sins that it had committed. And so we find that with Sodom and Gomorrah. We find that with the flood of Noah, that the sins of the world reached unto heaven. As if to say, you can stack up a pile of money, and if it just reached all the way up, like to the tallest skyscraper, that would be the sins of the people. It would be compared to that. Like you just have a big mountain of money, which would actually be in reference to a big mountain of sin that just reached all the way up into the sky, And so God can't ignore it, when a whole nation is going a whoring after the lust of his flesh. And so here in America, we don't teach our children sexual chastity at a very young age. We kind of look at it as, oh, that's cute. Little Tommy and little Susie are playing house. And, he's the daddy and she's the mommy. And, it's okay when there's no sex involved. But, when the kids start trying to behave, in a way that is sexual, and then start acting on it, and then begin to do things like act like they're married by saying we're together, we're going together, and then breaking up, things like that just shouldn't be, not at no preschool and kindergarten level, But oftentimes I just think the parents overlook the lives of the children. They don't really want to know much about the kids. They just drop them off at daycare and just kind of lead their kids to pretty much find their own way. They children just end up developing friendships with other kids that bring in, different beliefs and different influences that their child end up adopting, and then they wonder how come they having a problem with Susie or Johnny when they get home. It's because they spending most of their time with their friends at school, and they learning these behaviors at school, And so God mentions that when a woman gets married, she's not supposed to go out like the men and seek work. She's not supposed to be in the workforce. Now, why is that? Because God already knows that if a woman is trying to be a wife, that's a job. She has a job to be a wife. But if she's out there working, let's say a full-time job, that she has to come back and be a wife, that's going to be hard. And if she has to be a mother, that's even going to be harder, because now she got two jobs. She's a wife and a mother. And if she has a full-time job, she has to work a full-time job. That's three jobs. That's a lot for one person, one woman. And who's going to be neglected? Something has to get pushed off the plate or put on the back burner. And usually it's the children. The woman's going to drop the children off over the babysitter while she go to work, and then she pick them up from work, and then she come home. She's too tired to cook and do the things that a wife would do for her husband. God already seen that. He already knows that. The thing is that human beings think that we know more than what God knows, and he made us. And so we don't take him seriously. We don't listen to him. And so you look at our world, you see all these problems. It's because we think we know what's best. We think we know better than God. And come to find out, we really don't. We don't have all the answers. And we really need someone to help us. And I think if we focus on listening to what God has to say, even to people in ancient times, we'll learn so much more. We probably would not be in such of a mess as we are in now. But, that's just my opinion. So I just kind of want to cover that and clarify some things. So hope you enjoy.